Y'all know what I notice about everyone trying to be like rapper girlfriends, or just chasing the culture, just chasing the culture of the culture, like trying to create an environment that allows the present culture to take you wherever you want to go, right? The thing I notice about that is a lot of the stuff that we do is extremely inauthentic. And the if you want to be close to God, if you really want to be in your calling, if you really want to be in your passion, the best thing you can do is rededicate your gifts to God, to Christ. The best thing you can do is ask the Lord what you should be doing. And in that, through walking in your calling and your most authentic self, the closest self, that you being your true self is the closest you're going to get to God, because you'll be who he created you to be. But if you create who you want to be and then ask God to bless it and exalt you, you will forever be living in a fabricated life. Now, if that's okay with you, and you're like, well, as long as I get the money, then let that be okay with you, right? But a lot of anxiety and things that we feel is because of the inauthenticity of what we're doing and trying to cultivate a culture that wasn't meant for us. Especially if you're in Christ, your culture, your home culture, who you are should never look like the world. Ever. Never. So this is my first thought of the day that the Lord we was sitting there and talking about, and I wanted to bring that to y'all. And if you want to see it in the Bible, you see it. You see it. When David took the census, God said, don't count these people. These are my people. Don't count these people. You're trying to have a false hope in counting these people, and he counted them anyway, and it cost people their lives, because David wanted to say, I'm strong, I have strength in these people, I can go to war. And the Lord didn't want him to do that. He wanted him to keep being the David that sought out the Lord to win victories. And that's where we're falling short. We can't stop smoking because we don't trust God to help with these anxieties that are coming from not trusting anyway. We don't want to cut the friends off. We want to keep dressing certain ways because we don't believe that God can really truly sustain us without those people in our lives. And it's all a lack of faith and a lack of trust. It says that the people amongst Moses perished because they did not believe. There was corpse in the desert because of their unbelief. It says, didn't those that did believe, did they not make it into the promised land? It's saying that those who are dead, those who perish, who have a lack of knowledge, they had a lack of authenticity and belief in Christ. And this was even before Christ. So you say, Blake, this was before Christ, so how could they have a belief in Christ? Hold on. They had a belief, a faith in God and what God could do and the coming of Christ. But you don't want to believe in anything but you. And that's why you keep hitting the ceiling every time that you're trying to do something. And I feel the frustration. You're like, every time I get my taxes, I just spend them. And it's like, I'm just waiting for the next tax season. Every time I get every time I get this, I'm just waiting on the next thing. And that's where that tiresome culture mindset, it makes you depressed. It makes you anxious because you're constantly waiting on the next thing. And it's not purposeful. Suboptimal. I made a video about that a while ago, years ago, about living a suboptimal life. And it's just a life where you're constantly meeting goals that you're setting for yourself. They're not even spiritual. And we see that even in our marriages. Oh, we need to do this. We need to do this. And it's like we never stop and say, God, what do you have for this? Is this even you? Is this even you? And we find ourselves yoked up. And the Lord is like, by the time you seek him, he's like, man, I had nothing to do with this. I had nothing to God. Why would you let him do that to me? You never sought me. I had nothing to do with that. So I love y'all. Shalom, shalom.